for the
अरे
podcast.
काउंटडाउन
अच्छा अच्छा
आता
कुठे
कर सुरू.
अच्छा so hi guys, today is another day for the podcast. This is our second episode and I think everybody by now is comfortable and is getting on with it. And so this is going to be another version of some more questions related to metal and the scene around. Probably we all might have encountered these kind of things, but something like this to put it together has been a task for me and everybody else in the podcast. So today I think Satyajit, you might say that since you have already introduced yourself and we know like how you have come along with metal for so long. So today I think today's you can tell me about, we know the background and we have shared the questionnaire with each other first, and you can tell me what do you think, how today's thing is definitely going to be about financial aspects of metal and how the artists are surviving. If you have any observation related to the audience and the artists themselves, so far as their financial capacities are concerned,
I guess
then we
let's
can go ahead.
let's read out the question first so
Yeah,
that
sure, sure, sure.
yeah.
Uh, so, so I was saying the question is going to be about the economics and the financial capacities of the artist, and we are going to compare it with the global scene, global metal scene, and in that regard, Satyaj, I wanted to ask. So, my question is, why is audience engagement with metal shows in India is limited compared to the global scene? So, what do you
Uh,
think?
Now, this is what I feel like we as a country, we are divided in each and every state. I mean, after every maybe 400 or 500 kilometers, maybe 1,000 kilometers, the languages change. Along with that, the cultures change. Along with that, the music tastes change. So that's the reason why this goes a long way in terms of audience listening to what sorts of music at all these
Yeah,
places.
correct,
Say,
correct. So,
for
you are
example, if you go
saying
from
the structure of India
Maharashtra,
is going to be something. Uh, you are saying the structure of India and the structure where metal exists all around the world. So, when you start comparing, the structure itself is going to be the first part you have to look into, right?
structure in the sense,
S-
like
the
I'll tell you,
demographics of India.
yeah,
How?
demographics. Like, say, for example,
Right,
I will just take the example of Cass. Now, the guitarist and the vocalist of Cass is from Bhopal.
right.
I forgot his name, but like when I talk about Bhopal, how many people, according to you, in Bhopal listen to heavy metal?
Yeah, correct, correct.
Not many.
Yes,
In a few
not many, not many.
hundreds or thousands. I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah, yeah,
the exact
definitely.
numbers.
Yeah, yeah. It's no. What I mean to say is, I second what you are saying. It is definitely a short number. You can go ahead, no problem.
Yeah. So that's why I somewhere feel the engagement will come only and only if the people who are listening to metal, they try to go around, sort of maybe getting this music around to those people the social circle with whom they are engaging with. Now, as I have grown up, I have seen that till 2008, 10, maybe 11, 12, I was very much involved in rock music. Post that, once I got married and then I had kids, and since the last 12, 13 years, my, so to say, the engagement with the music dropped down because of a lot of reasons. And those people who were listening to rock music with me before that as well, along with me till 2010, 11, 12, if I talk to them now, they are not that much engaged with rock music. They don't want to come to shows. They don't want to, they say कि अरे यार कौन जाएगा संडे एक ही टाइम मिलता है फैमिली के साथ. So that's the reason why what happens is that they don't want to sort of
Yeah,
uh,
correct,
get
correct.
mixed up with the crowd. Now the
Hmm,
MH
hmm.
Metalheads group that we have on WhatsApp.
Right.
I have found that the age category of people is right from 18, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. So that's the reason why the varied age group gives me a chance as an individual to get in touch with a lot of bands which I have missed in the last 15, 20 years.
Right.
But for that, I have made a conscious effort to actually get into that group and get into all these things.
Right.
Because we were talking about depression and all, social media is one such channel wherein, conversations go to such pathetic levels that you don't feel like engaging with a lot of people.
So
So
this
that's
is
why
this is a negative side of the engagement, online engagement you are talking
online
about.
engagement, no, the thing is that's why, because music gave me a lot of peace in the last so many years of my
Correct.
depression. So that's the
Correct.
reason why I feel that I should get back to music.
So
For me, that
mainly,
is one.
yes, that is your personal journey.
No, no, no.
I'm
I will
so
come back to the actual point as well.
correct. Correct.
Why, as to why that audience engagement in metal shows in India is limited as compared to the global scene. One is population. Our
Population.
Indian
Correct.
population is huge as compared to whatever you find in
Yes.
Scandinavian
Yes.
countries and everywhere. So
Yes.
that's the reason why over there in those countries, the amount of music, the variation of music in their country is
Hmm.
very small as compared to India. If you go
Yeah.
to
Correct.
say Konkan side, Goa side, and every other states, the music drifts. But in India, this metal in itself is a Western thing that has come, and so that's the reason why the engagement part gets a hit, because it's a very niche market. So that's
Correct.
the reason why that's the issue is what I feel.
Yeah, correct, correct. So while I am seconding with you, I have certain different points, but I'll come back to what I want to say after Ninad puts in his part.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
Ninad, you can also tell. What I could get from Satyajit's answer is, one is he wants to say that demographic is a big part. Second, he wants to say that population also plays a huge part, and thirdly, it metal is something alien to Indian people, or metal is something alien to India. By itself, metal has never has don't have roots in India, so therefore it becomes a niche market, and therefore it is difficult to compare, to have something which is like metal propagate all over India, and therefore we have a difficulty when it comes to the comparison between global scene and Indian scene, and therefore we are lacking somewhere. So these are the inputs that Satyajit has put. What do you have to say?
So it's a combination of all of the points made so
Correct.
far.
Right. Right.
Uh, I also feel that it's not like engagement is low. It's there, but it's very scattered. Like the people we've seen, people Pune shows, the same bunch of 15, 20 people have been there at every show, supporting the artists, buying from merch stalls and buying tickets, not asking for to be on the guest list and things like that. So there is that level of engagement, but it's very scattered. As Satyajit said, that we are so diverse as a country that all of the media that gets circulated or passed around, it has to be localized. And how many, except outside urban centers, how many people actually speak in English, let alone think in English? There is a lot of elitism that is around the English language that
Yes, I get this point.
restricts
Correct.
that restricts that platform and that media to people who are the part of a certain strata of
Yes.
society. So, and apart from that, metal is not, again, there is the whole that, Western thing, not much engagement. Again, even the India's urban elite are not in tune with English when it comes to music, and uh, mostly it is just media, Netflix, this and that. When, like, I'm pretty sure people of our age came to know of Metallica through watching Stranger Things and not from Master of Puppets as when it came out originally, right? So it is there, but it's very scattered. And because we are so heterogeneous, it's that media gets passed around, but it's localized and fragmented.
Correct, correct. What I want to say here is language is definitely a part, demographic is definitely a second part, but the main issue right now is that we don't acknowledge that we are very diverse, and therefore diversity gives you a scope to bring in a lot of new influences, and therefore all of us can have each other's back at multiple points in time and in multiple roles. So, for example, if I have somebody coming from an Indian classical background and there is somebody who is studying in a jazz institute, both of them meet to a certain third person who is playing metal on his own. Somehow he got to know metal through internet mainly, or through some popular figure somewhere has said anything about metal and he googled and eventually turned up as a metalhead. So, for example, if they all of them start jamming or start talking to each other, I don't think there are going to be differences of opinion, because at the end of the day, it is about music. So the basis of metal is going to be music and the live events. So once that is sorted out between everybody, we will have a lot of scope to develop. So for what I want to add here is definitely tier 2, tier 3 cities, or whatever we want to call them, except anything except metro, those cities have metal altogether, but there is no exposure because those cities have not been able to break the barrier in the context of media. Okay, in their own context they have broken it. In their own context they are very popular. For example, if you are discussing cask, they had come to Aurangabad sometime long back, but their gig, the turnout which had come for their gig and the popularity which they got here is very big for us and for them also. So we were surprised about how people have suddenly started liking cask because nobody knew who it was. So when you start afresh, there is going to be something new which is happening, and all of us are going to be very surprised, because there are certain people who are going to like the way it is presented. Certain people are going to like the aggression way in which it is presented with the aggression. Certain people are going to like the costume. Maybe certain people are going to like only the drummer, or certain people are only going to like only the solo guitarist or the vocalist, because these are the ways in which we were amused to see that people are liking these kind of people, but not the music as a whole, you know so they are liking the guitarist for doing the lead guitars and doing the solos and using that pedal or something like that, making some weird noises. There were so many people fascinated with the way vocalist screams, and the way vocalist addresses to people. That fuck you attitude itself is a surprise to a lot of people. So I'm not quite sure where these kind of things have lacked, or have we not put it across to the media? Was there any really definite role by media where the media could have actually put in the effort to dig in that how all of this turns up, where there is no, I mean, the people who attend at these kind of cities, or the people who come from these kind of cities, are on their own. There is nobody to guide them or something like that. वैसा होता नहीं है at very few instances you will find people being guided by somebody else. So on if the somebody is on their own, there is definitely going to be a, negative point where they won't have the publicity or something like that. But when you compare it to the European scene, or when you compare it to Indian scene with the world, whatever is happening all over the world, so I think we are there. We are there. We have time and again reached that level where we have certain 5 to 10 bands who could go outside, or who could, tour all over the world. But the only aspect was the engagement and the media. That is where I think the whole scene has gone wrong. Because so far as musicality is concerned, we are at par. So we are always known. We have had almost everybody come to India, and there are a lot of bands which are yet to come, which are big numbers who have not come. But the live scene itself has given a lot to India, because वहां से ही तो सब कुछ शुरू हुआ है. Yeah. So if we really see, some time back, Ninad, I was talking to somebody from Bangalore, and I put a question: why do you think that everything should happen at Bangalore only? वहां पे क्यों होना है सब? So are you assuming that there are not going to be some 100, 200 people in Pune who
Yeah.
listens to metal? Are you assuming that? Or are you assuming that Mumbai doesn't have those many people? Or are you assuming that if a gig is held at Aurangabad, there won't be any turn up? ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. बैंगलोर में 10,000 लोग है नहीं है वो भी अपने को पता नहीं है आज.
Taxation laws are
Yeah,
better in
so
Karnataka.
correct. So the whole thing goes back to the live scene only, no?
Yeah.
Because
And the
Megadeth,
media
Iron
only.
Maiden, yeah, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, and Lamb of God that I saw, all those three shows were in Bangalore.
Correct.
So I had to actually go over there just so that I could check out all these bands. So
Correct. So when we talk about Satyajit, when we talk about the demographics, we have to also look at the way in which you want everybody to come together. Because that way is going to be, you have to look at the logistics of everyone. You have to look at the scarcity in your own city. And you have to look at the ticket prices also, apart from entertainment tax. ये सब
there
कोई
is
देखता नहीं है. अगर ये
one
सब देखा
point.
तो सब जगह होगी gigs.
There is
Everywhere
yeah.
we will have shows.
There is one point which I have seen talking to those in my age group
Yeah,
who used to listen to rock music earlier
correct.
and now they somewhere feel कि अरे आवाज बहुत ज्यादा है उसका. This
Hmm.
I realized when I went to Independence Rock this year. I was standing right in front of the stage and I could not bear that loudspeaker sound, so I went to the right or left of those speakers. I being in my early 40s, I could experience it, but I said that no, I want to listen to this music, so I went aside and I started listening to this music. Now, this is even in the case of Bloodywood, who sings in Hindi as well as English. So many people feel, "Arey yaar, bahut chilla tha." So now this is something that needs to be addressed at that level. We cannot, sort of enforce these things on people. So that is something.
I I completely, the screaming part about metal is something which is endless. We can go on talking about it, and there are going to be endless perspective about it. But the fact is going to remain that without the
Ab-
versatility of the music or the vocalist,
Absolutely.
metal is not going to be
No,
metal only.
it has to be enjoyed at full volume.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
correct.
there is no point.
Correct. That's how the vocalist enjoys himself.
Small technical point here.
Yeah.
The production techniques have changed since the 90s and 2000s, especially since media, like albums have started coming out on CDs. So there is something called the loudness wars. So where at the mastering stage, you apply so much compression to the signal that everything sort of becomes at the same volume. So there is no high and low volume. Everything is at a certain volume, and which is why those records, they have that artificial loudness. Even if I speak softly, it will get amplified like this
Oh,
when you apply compression, and which is why it gets fatiguing to listen to those records at full volume. And I don't know how much of this is applied in the live situation, but that overall compression, right, it just leaves no headroom, no breathing space actually, and everything is like sort of crushed into one volume, and you can't turn that up loud because it gets fatiguing, right? So if say there is a clean guitar part, it needs to be quiet. If there is distorted guitar, it needs to be loud, and without that contrast, it gets fatiguing, which is why a
abs-
lot of modern productions are very hard to listen to at high volumes, which is why exactly something like that came out in 1981, say Iron Maiden's Killer's album, you can turn that up at full volume, it will retain its character, it will still sound good. But same Iron Maiden's album, if you like Dance of Death 2003, it is highly unlistenable at full volumes.
Yeah,
So
correct. I get it. What you are saying is going to be the technical aspects. I don't think if it has to be addressed or something, but uh, the technical aspects are often ignored by other nuances. Maybe. What do you want to say? Do you think that your point of technical aspects is going to be going to change the way people listen to or
no, no,
something?
no, no.
वैसे
This
वैसे तो
not at all. This was just adding on to Satyajit's point where we should enjoy a certain kind of music at a certain volume. And it's just about that. It's not
Yeah,
related to today's topic.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So I think I have one connected question with this, and with the comparison between Indian and global scene. Uh, w- Ninad, I will ask you, how does the fragmented ecosystem affect the financial stability of metal artists? I'll put it to everybody. I think this is highly debatable,
Yeah.
and it is also subjective that whether the person who is playing metal he wants to be financial stable by doing only metal, or he wants to do everything else and metal. So it is
perfect,
highly subjective.
perfect.
But I'm just saying ki, assuming that there is a band who have left everything, they don't have any financial resources. Just assume that they want to sustain by doing only metal and everything related to it. I'm not saying band meaning only the production of music. I'm saying everything which comes in metal, like from live scene to the jam room to the recording, then production, then music videos, then distribution, then everything else. So I'm just putting using the term metal because we are talking about metalheads.
Hmm.
But you can refer to other system also and answer that how does the fragmented ecosystem affect the financial stability of metal artists or artists in general who want to be solely re- solely rely upon the this art form.
Okay. So for starting off, with the advent of the internet and free sharing of music, album sales as a revenue stream has been lost. Like for many artists, except a few, top artists who still make album sales and who still climb the charts and this and that. But and metal and hard rock was a product of the time, which was the 80s, which was a time of excess. So everything at 10, everything high volume, everything distorted more and more, and that resulted a lot of money being pumped in by the record labels also. And that again, there was, we all know the glam metal stories, Motley Crue, everyone's seen the documentary and all. They were making a lot of money through record sales. There were licensing deals with radio stations and
Yes,
this
so
and
for
that.
everybody, can you just put some brief perspective of the documentary you are talking about?
Sorry, I didn't
The
get you.
Motley Crue documentary, the Dirt or something, that film was there. It was in the form of an biography or autobiography. I don't remember.
Okay.
But Motley Crue, everyone knows how they were and what all happened in the 80s. And again, since the internet, music became like widely consumed, but people stopped paying for it. And the kids of today, they won't know what it is to go out and buy a CD, save money, and buy a cassette or a CD or album or whatever it is. And music is, they'll think that music is just there, always, everywhere. And so, revenue stream wise, I guess album sales are gone. So whatever is left is just merchandise and live shows. At least I don't know how other people are, but we are very chindi, like extremely stingy. Even for things we like, we don't like shelling out money. So that is very. So I guess album sales to gaya, but anything we can make in terms of merchandise also, you'll rather try to work around ki, okay, I'll just obtain this print from the internet and I'll get my own t-shirts made for me and my five of my friends
Yeah, correct. That
without
is one of the options. Yes,
without
definitely.
realizing that that merch is priced so high for a reason, because you're
Hmm.
not buying their music, they have to make money in
Correct.
other ways.
Correct.
Plus, if you really love a band, go out and support their live shows. You will
Yes.
see three other bands also. Buy their merch. We know it is overpriced. We know it is
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
of good quality, but it's
Hmm.
for a reason. It's so
Yes.
that it's an excuse to, instead of giving money for free, they are giving you something as a token.
Yes, definitely.
Right? If we see it like that, and be prepared to shell out money for artists we like or want to support. It should become better, I feel. And I know that there are a few people on the on our group who buy the music, go to shows, even buy merch, overpriced or what, it doesn't matter. But that is the only way now that album sales is out of the picture. Just
Absolutely.
yesterday, I was seeing a few videos regarding this financial thing we were about to discuss today. So everyone knows this band called Archspire.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yes,
Yeah, they
the tech
play
band. Yes.
technical death metal,
Yes.
progressive. And Dean Lamb, their guitarist, he
Hmm.
was saying that it is difficult to make money. Like he said, he can barely pay his rent. But
Hmm,
in
hmm,
the
hmm.
early days,
Yeah, that's so
because
sad.
they had to give
Correct.
away their music for essentially free, they had to put
Right.
in money and tour and everything. It is
Hmm,
only
hmm,
now, like which is what, 10, 12, 13 years after
hmm,
they
hmm.
started, that he can at least pay rent from his earnings from Artspire. So
That's
that's how bad it is
yeah,
outside.
that's tragic actually.
Now, outside, it's a
Hmm.
function of inflation,
Hmm,
and it
hmm.
is now starting to get worse and worse in countries
Correct.
like Canada, United States. Inflation is rising, and
Hmm,
that's why
hmm.
costs are going up.
Yeah.
Plus, in India, it's the other way around. It's there is inflation, yes, but we are also making lots of money
Yeah.
individually. Like we
Yeah.
are much well off than say our parents were. It is just that income taxes and all are milta, like we get a lot, but it's reduced to very little very quickly also.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I understand when people don't want to shell out money for something, but it's again, in the end, there is not much disposable income for people to be patronizing of the arts, so to speak.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
I completely second to the Artfire example also, because I don't want to be empathetic or something, or I don't want to comment that he could have done this earlier, or he could have, the situation can arise in my case also, or somebody else's case also. I want to say that the I want to be actually sort of conservative in this part and say that it is subjective. Number one, that economic aspect, and the second is I want to highlight that there could be multiple ways in which the artist can sustain himself or herself. Multiple ways, meaning it is again number one is going to be whether the person who is in the question, does he really want to be in the or solely dependent on the art and everything that he is doing or she is doing. Is there a sole, is that going to be their sole source of earning? That is number one. And once that is sorted, if they are going to say that this is my sole source of earning, then they have to look at the everything else that they have to compromise, number one. And secondly, they have to look at the avenues and the collaboration in which they can do. So I don't want to sound patronizing here, but the uh, financial part is majorly dependent again on the live scene. Again, it is majorly dependent on the live scene. Secondly, it is dependent on the DIY aspect of the willingness, whether they are willing to do it themselves, without anybody's this thing. And thirdly, it is definitely going to be dependent on the skill. So a band or a metal artist or somebody, so at the end of the day, it is an art form, right? So it is very subjective for somebody to go viral and somebody to remain at very bare minimum level for a number of years. And it is very subjective where you are doing, how you are doing, which aspects could have taken you off, could have, and which aspects are going to take off eventually. You have to be very present with the time. So we say that about artists, that you have to be art is a reflection of the society. That's what we say, right? Any form of art. So it is again going to be a difficult situation when you are talking about what is happening around you and some people don't like it, and then it ends up becoming another aspects of the expression fight around the art. You know, that is also one of those very political points and motivation in which a number of artists from metal community and outside get into art full time. That is one of those aspects. So it is not very widely discussed, but that is also is one of the aspects where a lot of people are saying yes or no to your art. So for example, if I'm talking about feeding people, I'm saying that everybody right now there is a global hunger problem, so everybody should feed people, and I'm writing a song about it. If some people say that this man is a depressed person, he doesn't talk anything else apart from this, so I don't want to support him, let it go. So if that kind of a thing also comes in between in metal, because of the diversity in the metal and the age groups and everything else around it, and then again the choice of expression and the choice of ideas, everything. So it is definitely a subjective issue so far as economics is concerned, and therefore I think there are no easy answers to this. This has to be widely debated, not only between us and the other people. Also have to widely debate this, that whether anybody who wants to get into something which is very niche and full time, how does he or she has to make it a point based on their skills, or do they really want to get into it like an employment, something like that, where the bare minimum skills can also make you survive. वैसे कुछ हो सकता है क्या? So for that I want to say that the industries which are very well established, you should take you should I don't want to say that you should seek support. What I want to say is that well established industries could come to your rescue in certain situations. I'm not saying you have to write mainstream songs, but I'm just saying certain situations. For example, if you are doing if you want to be connected to art, but not only art, but not only metal, then you can have so many avenues in the industry, right? Something like that. Where I want to propose a mix and match option for everybody, whoever wants to get into full time, but it has to be widely debated. I might be entirely wrong. I'm definitely there is 100% chance that I might be entirely wrong. But yeah, Satyajit, you pitch in. No problem.
I feel that there, say for example, I will just for a timing talk about Indian metal bands. Uh, I have seen Gutslit, for a matter of fact, that uh, the bassist of Gutslit, Gurdeep, his name is Gurdeep, right? Yeah. So he is a chef. He has a restaurant here in Kurla, Phoenix City Mall. So he is he is handling everything that the band is doing at this juncture. And I have seen that the way he has handled the band, and now I mean these guys are touring as well. They are going to Australia right now. So now the way these bands are looking at the commercial aspect, there should be someone inside the band who is able to maturely handle this. Apparently, such things are not possible when you are in your 20s. Let's face it. When in your 20s, you are not just looking at music as a career, you are looking at a lot of other things which
Correct.
not help your band and you to focus on the future of the band. There are a lot of
Right.
other aspects. Let's not even get into it.
Right.
So you need somebody who is mature enough to look at that aspect. Bloodywood, thanks to the music that they are doing, and they are popular outside because of their folk metal, so people are listening to it. That doesn't hold true for a band like Gutslit. So uh, that is where you need somebody who has to needs to be the brain of the band, and who needs to sort of direction the band as to how it can carry forward each and every month, each and every year, and how they can get revenue to the levels possible, wherein at least you don't feel that you should go and leave this band and do something else in life. So that will help. If you look Godless, like 6th April, they are going to perform in Lower Parel, and they are going to go abroad, and they're going to tour as well after that. So many of the band members are either working, or else they are associated as musicians, and they have their own classes or something. So that is how they do it. But I somewhere feel that if they want to stay put as a band together, and they want to take it ahead, there needs to be somebody who has a mature brain, and they can take it ahead. This is what I feel, because all the things, merchandise and everything, all those aspects are obviously there. They those are obvious things. But if the band is quite young, they need to have somebody who can take care of their the commercial aspect, who has experience of the commercial things in life. If they do not have that experience, the immaturity will tell in a few years time, and they have to either disband, or it will be like they have crumbled down. Nothing else will happen. The same has been for not demonic. Yeah, Demonic Resurrection is one another band who has gone down like that. PDB is another band. There are many such bands who has gone down like that. Even I had seen a interview of Corey Taylor, wherein he said, "Okay, I can pay bills, I can pay rentals, I can pay this and that, I can take care of my family, but I cannot do it the way Taylor Swift does it." If the person who's staying in US, if he's saying that, if you go to their website, each and every show of theirs, they are sold out. Each and every show of Slipknot are sold out. Even then, they are not earning money. That speaks volume about whatever is happening on the on the revenue front. So this is my point.
Niranjan, I think if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So, what I want to say is that everybody around me and people outside metal and inside metal also have said that day job is the completely mandatory thing. One day job everybody should have, and only then once you get into metal or something very niche like this, you are able to sustain yourself. And once everything is sustained, then you are free to explore and experiment for next 10 to 15 years, and something will knock on the door and you will have another opportunity. Or then some tours might happen where you might have to incur half, where we have heard about tours where you have to incur the half the cost of the tour, and only then you are sanctioned for the tour and you are able to tour the Europe or UK or somewhere else wherever you want to go. So that half cost also is difficult to bear for very many people. And I think that is a major issue where everybody, that rush, young rush, goes down to a toss, goes for a toss, and you have hardly anything when the opportunity like that is strikes you, and you are caught in the circle of bank loans, personal loans, and everything else. So yeah, definitely. It's a day job is a mandatory for everybody. I see Ninad doing thumbs up to that and Satyajit nodding his head. But so Ninad, what do you want to say about day jobs, man?
See, not having a day job again, it's what you're okay to live with. Um, but complaining about people not buying your merchandise or not liking your music is expecting a lot. Like you cannot force someone to like something. So if you're doing it for, your passion is,
Yeah,
if it's a means for you to express yourself artistically, do not depend on the response to that, because then you're playing to an audience. You play what they want to hear, as opposed to what you want to put out as an artist. So the only way you can really find expression is to not financially depend on art. uh, like do whatever else you have everyone has multiple skills. Like no one has just one skill and no, no, this is art and this is all I'm doing. Then you're just making a choice and setting yourself up for failure. What if people don't like your art?
Yeah, correct.
You can't blame them, no?
Yes.
It's up to them whether
Why
they
did
want
you
to
not like it?
like something or not.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's
Correct, correct.
better to have your financials in place, and then regardless of whether people like your art or not,
Yes.
it's a form of expression for you,
Yes.
and you should keep it that way. You
Yes.
got it out of your system, it's out there for the world to like or dislike.
Yes.
I like to keep it as simple as that.
So we all have heard that those ideal stories, where artists have sold their houses, taken personal loans, and gone bankrupt. Still could not do a lot, and nothing could come out of the art, and eventually their families are devastated. Everything has gone down, and there is that last show where they go on stage and perform, and everybody starts clapping, and yeah, all of a sudden they have become a rock star within one night. वो सब तो नहीं होगा यार. In real life it is a very 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 rare situation to occur. और हो भी सकता है. It should happen. What I mean to say is it should happen every day with for everybody, but it is not happening. So we have to come to terms with the day job, isn't it? Satyajit, what do you want to say?
Day jobs is something that
Yeah,
at times helps as well. Like
correct,
coming back to Gutslit,
correct.
their drummer,
Hmm.
he works for an advertising agency, and he takes care of the artwork for Gutslit's t-shirts and everything. So it helps as well.
Right.
So all these things help them in varied ways. So
Hmm.
day job will at least give you the financial stability. At the same
Yes.
time,
Yes.
a lot of things get taken care of, because if you want to maybe write lyrics, you need peace of mind. You cannot
Yes.
write lyrics with a stressed mind. So
Right.
that's the reason why, if the money is coming, how much soever less it might be, if a
Yes.
self-content man gets money, he knows how to take care of himself and the whole month.
Yes. So
So
do you
he
want to
knows.
say metal is not for not to get the money or something? Do you want to say
Ideally,
that?
not at the start, because any which ways,
Not
it's
at the
like a
start.
tree. You
Okay.
need to, plant that seed, and you need to water it every day. And
Right.
you need to ensure that at least till the time a
Hmm.
expected level of revenue is coming in, you need to be patient, because
Yes.
ultimately, how much so ever you like that art,
Yes.
commercially
So you
becoming
are
that
being
thing
hopeful about it. Are you
viable. Yeah.
hopeful?
Sorry.
Yes. Are you hopeful about this? That eventually money will come if you put the what?
Eventually, money, like if it doesn't come,
Hmm.
the fact that you starting to lose your mind would be wrong in my opinion.
Yeah, correct.
Because any which ways, like we said earlier, that this art in itself is very niche. So if the
Hmm.
money doesn't come, it should not disturb you. If it
Right.
comes, it's great. But if it doesn't come, then it should not disturb you.
Right.
Because now I will give you the example of Swaratma. They have this guitarist. He's a Bengali. I forgot his name, Debashish or something. No, now he was in XLRI, and he said
Okay.
that I went to this XLRI Jamshedpur, and the only thing that used to be there on my mind is, where is that musician around me with whom I can jam?
Okay.
But he's
Right.
saying now that I am in Swaratma, I have my wife besides me who ensures that there is financial stability in the family,
Hmm.
and that's the reason why I'm able to follow my art.
Correct. Correct.
So that's the reason why this is important. This is very important, that they are going along with Swaratma. Swaratma is not that commercially successful a band, if you look at it that way. But at the same time, they're enjoying that they are playing for Swaratma even then, because somewhere they even know that might not be the fact that Swaratma might not be able to become successful commercial at a commercial level, but at least they are making new music every year, year on year, and there are people who are going and enjoying their music. How much so ever less number of people that might be going for the shows. So that's the reason why to expect a lot, I think, is wrong. Expectation should be there, but they should be at a level which should not go beyond thought, beyond imagination,
Correct.
is what I feel.
Correct. I have heard Cannibal Corpse also doing the have
Yeah, Cannibal
they have their
Corpse,
jobs, all of them.
just like 2024, they had
Yeah.
gone to some some shows which was some electronic or funk show or something. I don't know which exactly, and they were giving out flyers wherein they have a show coming in the next few days, and they wanted people to come down and watch them. So
Correct.
this is what they are doing even at the age of 50.
Yeah. So, correct. This is so. Are we going to say that this is a difficult situation or fragmental situation where the artists are having a difficult time to sustain, and there should not be much ambition to sustain themselves solely on metal or the art. There should be some kind of a support which they should have built for themselves. They should have built before coming into or before going full time. And
Yes.
once you have that support, then the less said is better. You can do endless things. I say, this is one of the I think meaningful conversations I have had in a long time. वैसे इकोनॉमिक्स के बाद about the economics hardly anybody comes to terms, though, because of the subjectivity and the you know different backgrounds everybody comes from. Economics ke about the economics, it is very difficult to have a common common ground. Everybody else can come
Yes.
eventually to a common ground, but about economics there are different opinions
Hmm.
from everyone.
By the way,
So
speaking of merchandise, can
right,
you guys see my t-shirt?
yes,
Can you identify which band it is for?
no,
This band. Ooh.
which band?
Which band is this?
I love you, Pav Bhaji, Scribe.
Fuck.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh. From where did you get this tea?
This
nice. I
is
also want this.
this is on Red Wolf.
Red
Red
This
Wolf,
Wolf.
is
small,
it?
yeah, small t-shirt company in Dadar.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I also have a Red Wolf tee. I mean, I have one, but this I Love You Pav Bhaji t-shirt is something
This is out of
I'm.
print now, so just check on their
Oh,
website
Oh,
if
is
it's
it?
available.
okay. So it is there. I just checked. It is there.
Okay, awesome.
14% off.
Now this t-shirt that I
Nice.
have, there are a lot of bands names and
Nice
their
one.
songs names and everything. I got this from Banyan Tree, but
Okay.
the quality is pathetic. Sorry to say.
Right.
Oh,
Please don't buy anything from Banyan Tree. Pathetic quality.
Alright.
Seriously, the cloth quality, it is not cotton. So that is the worst part, and the fitting is also not that great. So
Not that great, right?
yeah.
So, yeah, correct. So, should we move on to the review part of
yes,
the
please,
podcast?
please, please.
Satyajit,
So, yeah,
you
yeah,
have,
you can lead that. No problem, Ninad.
Blood incantation, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So blood incantation is, yes, they are progressive, but I somewhere, got a feeling that it has a very electronic feel to that music of theirs. I somewhere felt that they have a very electronic feel to that music, and that music actually, somewhere I feel that it might even give you a high without having drugs, because I went into a sort of a different zone while listening to Blood Incantation. I loved it. I seriously loved it. Thanks for recommending this Blood Incantation. So I will be now listening to the
So
prior
the,
albums of Blood Incantation.
yeah.
I mean, it's totally different progressive metal.
So
I am not.
just
Yeah,
for the audience, the album we are referring to is called Absolute Elsewhere.
Absolute Elsewhere. Yes,
Yeah.
Absolute Elsewhere. And I really like the way they have experimented with their sounds. I actually went to Google and I just wanted to see as to what all instruments have they used while making all these tracks, and it's beautiful the way they have sort of designed each and every track of their of this album of theirs. I really loved it. I am going to uh, go back to other albums as well. And this is a totally different sorts of progressive metal that I have seen in long time. It gave me a sort of a feeling of Sky Harbor. I had heard Sky Harbor many, many years ago. I even heard it last year after lot many years. And but Sky Harbor is very it seems very modern. Blood Incantation, in spite of the music, it doesn't give that feel that it is very modern, but at the same time it has that a different electronic progressive taste that is very different from other progressive bands. That I have to agree with this.
Yeah, right. Right. For me, this I'm not going to be the judge of the album because I don't find myself worthy to judge album like this, because this has I don't know, someone from or around us has definitely thought of something like this and did not know the way in which they can put it together. Everybody has thought of something like this but could not think how to put it together. Blood
Mm.
Incantation has done that, and it's
Absolutely.
intense. I have not read a single review which is saying that we didn't like, because they have been the 13-year-old band, and now by now a band like this is definitely going to have certain following which is going to be very orthodox about the choices which the
Yes.
band makes. They are not going to like something which comes new, and they are going to hate something which is extremely new like this. I've never heard. I could not even comprehend how to put it together. Yeah, all of this is unreal for me, and the first song itself took me by surprise. I had no idea the band with such hard work, such name, and such uh, definitely the band album name suggests a lot about how the album is going to be, but I had no idea this is going to be something like this. I had no idea. I have no words, and I can't put in the terms of music also how it could have been, or where I think they could have improved, because this is beyond my expectation. This is like a Pink Floyd and death metal coming together. That's what I could read everywhere. But when you sit to put together your thoughts, it is definitely a progressive death metal album for me, and it has those contemporary elements where they have gone back and come to life, and again they have gone back to what they like, and they have put it together. All of this is very difficult to do for any artist, to put together something which they like. As a this is a very difficult thing to do, because end of the day 100% of what you are thinking is not going to come to the fruit. It is not going to bear that fruit, and they have been able to do that. I think I think that they have surpassed their own expectations also. This is too good for me, yeah. Too good. All of this is very very I think this is one of those feeling where uh, somebody who knows what flesh god is, and all of a sudden they have decided to go to their live show, and as soon as they reach and the first song starts, they are all blown, because they had no idea live show like this could have happened, because that is how flesh god is, right? Live, they are intense. You can't expect, because from their name it doesn't suggest that somebody who has roots in the opera and the orchestra and everything else and the symphony and everything will come together, and a drummer like that could go heavy and crazy over drums, and something like that could you know come to life, in front of your eyes. वैसा सब you don't expect, and same thing has happened with this band also, and it's unreal. The experimentation level, it's unreal. Everybody should experiment. It is definitely telling me that I should also a playlist can have Pink Floyd at the start. Second song could be a Cannibal Corpse song, and the third song could be Pink Floyd again.
Oh, I thought you,
So I was expecting something. I'm expecting this from my playlist after I listened to this band. So I was not expecting a playlist like that could turn up. I can do that playlist. But today it is telling me that that playlist can exist. So it's very. Ninad, you should pitch in. What are your views? You should
Um,
tell me something.
so this
Yeah.
one video from this album, it randomly turned up on my YouTube feed, and it was some 23 minutes long or something. I think there are two parts to this album. One is the Stargate, and the second part is the message. So I think the video was for the first part, the Stargate. And again, as Satyajit said, na, I went to some other place and I didn't realize I was looking at the screen for 23 minutes or so, whatever that duration was. I myself am not very fond of extreme metal, but the wave they've alternated between one extreme metal part which sounds very like Morbid Angel and old school death metal, and that coupled with that atmosphere, those lyrics about the cosmos and what is consciousness and the body being temporary and all of that, that alternated with 70s sort of synth based progressive rock and everything that comes in between. It takes you on a journey, literally, as Satyajit said, without any sort of substance. I listened to that album today, 45 minutes straight, and it felt like 5 minutes. It was that enjoyable. The whole album is 45 something minutes. And I guess that is the best quality of this album.
Yeah,
It,
too good. Too good.
it's really bizarre. It's not anything like I've ever heard. And I'll also now go back and see the back catalog of this band. And I would encourage whoever is listening to this episode to go out and check out Blood Incantation.
Yeah,
Catch
man.
Flesh God Apocalypse.
Hmm.
Flesh God Apocalypse is, I mean, the live acts of that band is something that you need to check out. My friend had apparently, he stays in Netherlands and he had been to the live show. And live shows are such a sight to see of
Yeah,
Flesh God Apocalypse. They
I,
had
I
come to
s-
Bangalore.
I
You
saw
had
them at
you,
Big 69 in Mumbai,
oh fuck.
along with Carcass, along with Sixth.
This was in 2015, right?
Yeah, 14 or 15.
Richardson Crudas.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they had come to Bangalore as well. I mean, Flesh God Apocalypse was not a band that, as I told you, post 2011 12, I was not in touch with the rock scene at all. So that's the reason why I didn't come to know about all these bands that given point of. So obviously I
Correct,
missed it.
correct.
So, but I would love to watch them live once. They
Hmm.
are very high level performers. Their live acts are something that one needs to experience to know as to how good they are at it. Is I think I think it's high time that at least for me they come to India, Mumbai, wherever they come in India, even if Northeast, wherever I am going to go and watch them live for sure, 101%.
You'll go even to Bangalore, Satyajit?
Obviously, for a band that I love, I am ready to go anywhere.
Okay.
Now my problem with
Given
uh,
that what has happened with Mayhem, I don't think I'm going back. No.
no, that's fine. I mean, if fortune has it in store, can't help. Like I mean, the way Bangalore Open Air is, many people are saying that this might be the last edition of Bangalore Open Air. But these bands like Ginger and all these bands, I have never heard of these bands. So that's the reason why there is no point of me going and watching those bands live, because I tried to listen to them twice or thrice, but I was not able to get into it. So that's the
Right.
reason why I thought I will just experience. I'll just wait for 1 year's time. If next year again, if they're gonna come or BO is gonna happen next year, I will see how better I can try to get over there.
Okay.
Right, right. But given the Mayhem's thing, I'm highly disappointed. I don't. There has been a lot about that incident all over the internet and offline also. People have been expressing the discontent over it, including me. But so yeah, it was a very. But if Flesh God comes, I'll think about it. But they should come close by. Definitely. Somewhere in Mumbai or Pune, no problem. Because Pune has everything, man. Mumbai also has, but Pune also doesn't give you the guarantee that gig will happen. वहाँ पे भी the scenes have gone to the toss. No doubt about it.
Absolute.
So yeah, we had a great time today.
Yeah,
Yes.
we are on the
Yes,
nick of time. I mean,
yes. We have had a great time. Wow,
perfect.
I'll see you guys next time. No
Yes.
doubt. Yeah.
Sure.
Sure.
Bye. Thanks.
All
Bye.
right.
That's the
Bye.
end of
See you.
podcast. Chalo, see you. Bye.
Bye.